All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to another fabulous episode of the Let's Talk Fabulous show. I'm your host this week, Kim O'Neill, and today we are talking about putting yourself out there. Let's talk. All right. Hello, fabulous panelists. Welcome to the show.
Oh, welcome. Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you.
Thank you. And we do have one more who will be joining us shortly. And so we'll add her in as soon as she's here with us. But I'm excited for today's conversation. So here's the thing. Every show, I always think, who feels like a right fit for this episode? And each of you came to mind. It started with Mark, and then all of you just naturally came to mind. I was like, oh, it's perfect. And I want our audience to know that the people on today's show know what they're talking about. They know the journey of putting yourself out there. And we're going to talk about it from different angles, and I'm really excited about that. So how about before we get into the conversation, I'd love to just go around real quickly and have each of you say a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where are you located in the world. And I'm going to start with this way, Kaelen.
Okay. Thank you, Kim. My name is Kaelen Marie, and I am a pleasure coach, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. And I live in Aurora, Colorado.
Oh, I love that. Kaelen, I did not know some of that about you. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, Sharla, let's hear from you.
I am Sharla Lee Shults. I am an educator, a writer, author, and now a speaker that you will learn about today. And I live in Panama City, Florida, but presently visiting my family in Tega Cay, South Carolina.
Oh, I love that. Okay. And Mark, welcome to the show. This is Mark's very first time, and
Yes.
It's wonderful to have you here. Tell everyone who you are.
I'm Mark Stephen Lyons, Jr. I am a life coach who deals with schizoaffective disorder, and I'm also an author, and I run the podcast, What Are You Even Talking About? And I live in North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Okay. And hopefully we'll have Barbara joining us shortly. We'd love to add her to this conversation as well. But let's, I think I just want to start with, what came up for each of you when you thought of this topic about putting yourself out there? Kaelen, I saw those eyes.
My whole life, my whole freaking life is putting myself out there. 3 years ago, I completed a 35-year marriage. I left the faith of my fathers. I now steep in sacred sexuality, and I'm a pleasure coach. I mean, I everything I do is I just keep putting myself out there because I can't stop. And my soul won't allow me to. This is what I'm meant to do. And so there were things that I had to complete to continue to put myself out there. And is it scary? Yeah, it's been deeply scary. Do I get over it? Yeah, I do. Am I at the point where I'm just like, okay, what's next? Yeah, I am.
Okay, I have to thank you for sharing all of that. So to today's audience, whether you're with us live or on the replay, what is your calling you to do? What is your soul calling you to do? In what way are you feeling called to put yourself out there? Maybe continuing to put yourself out there if you already are, or to start putting yourself out there if you feel like you haven't been doing that yet. I'd love for you to share with us in the comments, and we are here to support you big time. Kaelen touched on something that I think all of us can speak to it from different angles about the fear of putting ourselves out there. You have support, but I know it's hard sometimes when you're getting started. So Kaelen, I love that. Mark, Sharla, how about you? What came up for you when you thought about putting yourself out there? Oh, and we have Barbara with us. Okay, hold that thought. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you. I think the system made me put myself out there and out the room.
Put yourself so far out there.
Yeah. So to say, you're not going to be on the show. You're going to go out there.
She took it. Universe took it literally for her. Okay, Barbara, tell everyone just a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where are you located. And
Okay, my name is Barbara J. Beckley. I am the CEO and president of the Diamond Factor Network, where I help people basically get visibly and put themselves out there. I am in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the temp is around 49 degrees, and hopefully it doesn't snow.
I know Kaelen has like multiple feet out too. Yeah, where she is of snow. Okay, so the question was, what were your thoughts when you first thought about speaking to the topic of putting yourself out there? Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay. Well, before, I had to put myself out there when I became a life coach and a podcaster. I didn't know what I was doing. I had so much fear, and I literally just sucked it up and was like, if I want to do this, if I want to make it, then I have to do it. So I put myself out there, and I've built a following now, and I'm building my life coaching business, and I've done this before because I used to be an actor before I was a life coach. And, in acting, you have to put yourself out there in order to get the part. So we literally, you go to auditions, you go to dance auditions, you do all this stuff to put yourself out there because you are your main product. And that's what people don't, realize a lot of the time is that you are the product. And because of that, you have to put yourself out there.
I love that. I love that. Sharla, how about you? What were your initial thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Well, I never expected to be where I am today. And mine started with a routine doctor's visit that ended up making funeral arrangements for my husband of 35 years. Oh. Totally unexpected. And when that happened, my life just flipped like flipping a coin. For about 2 years, I ended up becoming a recluse and finally decided, life goes on. And if I don't continue and get out and do what I feel like the Spirit wants me to do, I know my life isn't over yet. He may be gone, but I'm still here. I have a purpose. So I definitely stepped out of my box.
You did.
I did and left. I was in education, a math and science teacher, and left that, went into writing, and have published several books, have 2 new ones coming out this week. And then the biggie, of course, becoming a speaker. So it's been quite interesting. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And Barbara, I'm going to actually share your video and then would love you to expand on that. So we're going to move over to a video. We'll be right back.
Hello. I wanted to say real quickly how important it is to put yourself out there. Putting yourself out there gets people to understand who you are, your stories, what's behind the scenes in your life. Because every person, I always say, has a special gift in them. And people need to see that. Not only for you to build your confidence and to build that you are worthy, but also people know who you are and how you can help them and give them hope. I always say I love telling my stories in my life because not so much bragging about what I did or what I went through, but more so letting them know how I got through the fires or even how I'm celebrating certain things in my life because it gives them hope and it gives them a sense of I can do that too. I know I can. I know I'm worthy for it. Me being the shyest person in the world over 14 years ago, and to sit here and I can tell you right now how I am a speaker, I am an author, and I have my own network where I help other people build their brand through their TV streaming shows. If you don't put yourself out there, you don't know the ability that you have to bring, not just for yourself, but to help so many other people. So put yourself out there. Be the person you are. Understand that you are worthy.
Barbara, say more about that.
Well, I got to keep that clip.
Like, oh, I'm good.
I was like, wow, kind of impressed. So yeah, I did mention in that clip real quickly, 14 years ago, I was very shy. And a lot of people today tell me, Barbara, really, sometimes you need to. And I'm like, no, I'll never do that. Because once I've learned my voice and once somebody's seen me that I didn't see myself. And that's why I was, so sometimes you see yourself and saying, yeah, I think I need to be out there. I need to be on the stage, or, in the stage is the world. Don't have to be on a really regular stage. But see, I didn't understand what I can bring, and I didn't understand my gift. Somebody else seen that. It was a manager at my company during my day job telling me, Barbara, you have it. You are a wonderful worker. You're due diligent. You care about people, but people don't know who you are because you're quiet. You're not saying anything. You're just in your little cubicle every day. And she's seen it. I was like, really? She said, they don't even know you've been here for 15 years. And she's the one that started to see. She started watering the seed and telling me what I need to do, what kind of classes I need to take to get out there speaking and stuff. And just, she said, even if you're not a speaker, Barbara, I just want people to know who you are because you have that gift in you. And when she started that, I was like, wow. And that's been 14 years ago. Now it's like I said, I'm kind of everywhere because I feel like we all are accountable to be putting ourselves out there because what we bring and what other people need from us. So anytime you feel like, well, I got a headache, I'm sick and everything and all that kind of stuff, think about other people that are maybe have cancer or maybe going through something and saying, you know what, if they going through that, maybe they need to hear what I can say to bring them to that next level.
Ooh, okay, Barbara. So Kaelen, go ahead. You have a follow-up question?
Girl, I'm going to piggyback off of what you said. This was very, very powerful because we don't know who we are meant to touch and connect if we don't put ourselves out there. Like coming from a spiritual background and being so deeply connected to the divine, my personal self, I feel like I made promises to women before I came to this earth that I would find them, they would find me, and I would be part of their healing journey. What if I didn't put myself out there? What happens to those people? So putting ourselves out there, it's just not for us. It's for humanity. It's for humanity's growth and development and healing. If we don't, then we all suffer.
Yes.
Yeah, Barbara, I would love to know, because I know some people are hearing this and they might be thinking, well, I'm really quiet too, and I think maybe I should put myself out there, but maybe they're not really. I don't know. What I want to ask you is, when your boss said that to you, I would love for people to know you. I would love for you to put yourself out there more. In what way did it resonate with you, or did it not resonate with you? Like, did you do it just because someone was telling you that I think you should?
Well, at the beginning, I'm going to be totally honest. Yes, at the beginning, I was like, okay, she's telling me this. Is she going to fire me? I mean, all that was going through my head. If I don't do this, what's going to happen? But then when she brought me to the room, which, like I said, I still thought she was going to fire me. She said, Barbara, I just see so much, and I need you to believe in that too. She's, I can tell you all day and all night that you're an awesome person, and you can give to the world, but you got to believe that. And we only have this one chance. And this is what she was explaining to me. Now, this is a manager, corporate, taking the time out, which to me was like, okay, first of all, I think I owe her right now because she's seeing me. So now that she's seeing me and telling me I can do it, then I need to take the next step, even if it's a scary step, that I need to go out there and learn how to put myself out there. And like you said, it's going to be fearful. You're going to be scared. I mean, I know I was. It just wasn't a one-day thing and boom, I was out here speaking. But, it took me through a lot because I kept telling myself that she says I have something in me and how do I bring it out if I'm just hiding it? So we can't hide. And then when I think about that just gave me a little bit more extra step to say, I need to be out there. I need to be out there. And a lot of times when people are speaking, I know the first time I came on, oh, my earrings, my eyes, oh, my hair, da, 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 da. Okay, it's not about you, Barbara. I had to keep saying that. It's not about you. If you go out there with a scarf on your head, what are you talking to this? What are you trying to say and help people? And that's what's more important.
Love it. Okay, I want to ask each of you, what is the benefit that you individually receive? We've already touched on the value that everyone else receives, and we'll get back to that because we know that that's really the bigger picture. But also, it starts with each of us, right? And it's important that we're doing things that are aligned with who we are, with what's important for us. And so I want to ask, what is the value that each of you have received from putting yourself out there? Sharla, I'm going to go with you first.
Me? Oh, sure. The value that we receive from, I know, is putting ourselves out there to help other individuals. It's inside. It's that inner peace and that inner depth, and knowing that what you're doing is for the better good. It's for those that are around you. It's hard to get away from that, because I'm not one to say I'm doing this because it's just for me, because it's not for me. I may love it and love what I do, which is true. But the value in it is that if I can give value to others, that increases the value that I have in myself. So that way, I know that I'm doing good and I am able to benefit others. And Barbara, to me, really hit the point. And I want to go back to her little video, because when she was talking about worthiness, in my work as an educator and working in the past with youth, it's our youth that so often are overlooked because they're not given the chance to open up and let people know who they are, what they're thinking. They are so creative, but yet they're stymied because they need to learn this, need to learn that, need to follow this path, need to follow that path. Part of it's true, but part of it's not, because we have to allow them the opportunity to step out. And that's one of my goals, is to get out into the schools and work with youth again, because I think that's so, so important to be able that we spread that to all those around us, especially our kids. I don't know if I answered your question, but I
Well, you did excellent, but you also
get off on a tangent.
you did fantastic, and you also did the thing that I expected people to do, which is continue to focus on how it benefits everyone else.
It's hard not to.
I know.
That's the goal, it's not about me.
Well, so I'll speak to that. And by the way, I apologize. I realize I'm not quite using the right camera today, so if my camera is a little grainy, that's what's going on. What I'm talking about is the inner fulfillment that you get, the ability to feel like you can confidently and freely speak your voice and be able to share what matters to you, because it also matters to other people. But it's sort of that, I think it all comes back to alignment piece for the individual, right? We've talked a lot on, the other hosts have talked a lot on the show about legacy, and I see it all connected, right? So it starts with, what matters to me and what would be valued by the world, and how can I do that? And for a lot of people, that's going to be putting yourself out there, but having that alignment piece, right? Because I could put myself out there all day talking about, I don't know, scrub brushes, but that's not going to mean anything for me. And I'm going to be dissatisfied, which means what I put out there would be not quite as powerful if I'm not in love with what I'm putting myself out there about. Does that make sense? Is that, yeah. Kaelen, yeah.
So this conversation is so compelling. For me, the hardest thing was to put myself out there, because I was afraid of the shame, the fear, the repercussions of my actions. Well, I mean, I'm a recovering Mormon, all right? And so when you complete a marriage, especially one that was for 35 years, like, stuff happens. And I was terrified. I'm like, I gotta know, but I had to, because my soul would not let me. Like, I couldn't stay in there anymore. I mean, I had experiences with ancestors from the other side going, girl, you gotta get out. This is not where you are to be now. And it was hard, but I did it. And I look back and I'm in amazement at what I was able to accomplish. Like, it's huge. I'm not anything like I was 3, 4, 5, 10
I know
years
you're
ago.
not. I
You
know.
know, because you've known me for a hot minute, right? You've seen the evolution. And yet I did it because I had to. My soul required it, like I said earlier. But I look back and I'm like, dang, girl, look at what you did. And that to me propels me to say, okay, I can do so much more. I can do so much more. And it's that inner satisfaction that is just, it's just come up and out, and it just blossoms and it's just growing. And I don't know where I'm going to go, but I know I'm pretty excited about it because it's juicy. And as I continue to put myself out there, like miracles and magic, they just happen. And I love it. I mean, I couldn't be where I'm at without saying to myself, I value me enough that I've got to do this for me.
Yeah. Okay. I want to add to that the piece of when we do the thing that resonates most for us, even if it's scary, that inspires and tells someone else they have permission to do the same, right?
Yeah.
So that's, to me, that's that whole connection of alignment piece. Okay, Mark, we want to hear more from you. I'm going to share your video clip and then we're going to come back to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So putting yourself out there, by fear of failure and rejection. And fear of failure and rejection can actually activate the same parts of the brain that processes physical pain, like the anterior insula and the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. Because our brains respond to the possibility of rejection or negative judgments as if it was a threat to our safety, we tend to avoid situations that might put us at risk of criticism or failure. This means that even if something could help us grow or succeed, our instinct might be to stay safe by avoiding it altogether. In a way, fear tricks us into holding back and keeping us from reaching for our goals and putting ourselves out there. This is supported by research from a study published in Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience by Cross and colleagues in 2007. Isn't that wild?
Mark, thank you for sharing that and really speaking to that fear piece. Would you elaborate? Say a little bit more.
Okay, so as a person diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, a lot of people don't listen to people with a mental illness. Like, there's a lot of problems in the field where nobody is listening to the needs of the patient or the client. And because of that, we don't understand how to help them. And we don't understand what they're going through. And that was a big reason why I put myself out there and started a YouTube channel. Like, I wanted people to hear my story because it might be similar to theirs. And they would know that people are supporting them out there because, I didn't have support in my journey. And so I was basically alone for a lot of it. And if I wouldn't have put myself out there, I wouldn't have met other people that, aligned with me. I wouldn't have met other people that understood what I was talking about and saw me for who I was and not for the mental illness that I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful.
That's powerful. Yes.
Something's happening in audio.
Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay.
It has happened to all of us, Kim.
Thank you.
I was jibber jabbing. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Mark. Great job. Okay. So Mark, I love it. I was simply acknowledging how much support you have here in today's show and out in the world. And I just want to even thank you for doing what you do for all those people who are thinking they're alone and they don't have anyone else that they can look to for support. And I just love it. I don't know. It makes me so excited and I'm really happy you're here today. So thank you. Yeah. Let's expand on the fear piece just a little bit more. Not that we're not aiming to generate the energy of fear, but we got to speak to it because that's what holds up a lot of people, right? right? I will say for me, and I've probably said this before, that when I first started podcasting, I got really excited because I'm like, oh yeah, this totally matches me and a background that I had of doing different things, voiceover and did theater and stuff like that. And yet at the same time, as soon as I started putting myself out there, I all of a sudden felt all the fear of, oh no, but now I'm not using a script. Now it's me. It's my thoughts. It's my opinions. What if people don't like it? What if I mess up? What if I talk with the microphone turned off? Right? And really having to work through that and eradicate that so that I could get to the space where I can just do what I'm here to do. It's fulfilling for me, and I also feel called to do it. I know that it benefits others. So anybody else want to speak to what their fear journey? Yeah, Charlotte, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all going to speak to this. So I'll make it quick. I'll be sure we all have it. The fear factor. I mean, Mark, when you hit it, you nailed it. I mean, right on the head, because the fear factor, I'm unworthy. I do not belong. I am insignificant. You know, all of those go into play when we want to step out and do something that we have never done before. We're out of our comfort zone. And when that fear sets in, then we think we cannot do it. So it's overcoming and not letting the fear be the deciding factor. We have a choice. And when we make the choice that we're going to go forward and step out into the world, that first step, that's all it takes. And I encourage anybody that's listening to this show, it doesn't matter your age, your position, where you are, or who's looking at you, or if your hair's right, or if you're wearing the wrong color. I'm like Kim, you know, it just doesn't matter. You just have to be able to just overcome and say, you know, fear is just a word. What am I really fearful of? And make the choice, and then put yourself out there.
Kaelen.
So piggybacking on all of this extreme juiciness that we've got going on here, fear also means resistance, right? And if we're resisting something, it's because it's for our greatest good. And I got to read this to you because this quote my sister shared with me yesterday, and I was like, dang. Becoming ready for the medicine means preparing for the cure. Let me say that again. Becoming ready for the medicine means preparing for the cure. The reason that fear is there, it has such a deep purpose, is because the resistance is there, because everything that we need to heal from and move forward through is on the other side. And that's the cure. And we're becoming ready for the cure, because we then become the cure for ourselves. And that's all about, you got to go through it. You can't just sit there, because like Sharla said, Charlotte, how long were you a recluse? 2 years, you said?
2 years. 2 years. Totally out of the world.
Exactly. How did that feel?
It was terrible. I mean, it was loneliness. It was sadness. It was no reason for living. Why am I here? I don't need to be here. All of those thoughts went through my head because I didn't know what to do, where to go. I was left alone, and I was not accustomed to being alone. And I thought I couldn't handle it.
And yet every single one of us on this call, and so many that are watching, what have they done? They've felt the fear. They've sat in that resistance. And then something inside of some divine spark happens. It's like, I got to get out of this. And that becomes our medicine. And then we become cured. It's amazing. It's all within us. That's the power that we have just as being human.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off that because I went through a psychosis. I was alone in a house for a year, and I went through this psychosis, and it was a spiritual awakening as well. I was seeing things and hearing things that weren't there. I saw everybody as different gods. I literally had fear of everything in my life, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I decided I'm going to document this. So I started doing YouTube videos. So while I was going through my psychosis, I literally started making videos about what I was going through. And it stopped people from using me. It stopped people from telling me stuff that wasn't true. It stopped people from being able to do
Wow.
things to me that I knew was wrong, and they would be like, never happened. And I'd be like, oh, no, 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 no. I recorded this to make sure I knew it happened. And because of that, I had a document and a journal for me to let me know that it wasn't a psychosis. It was more of a spiritual awakening. And it was allowing me to see who people were to me and how they reacted to what I was going through. And it literally changed my life. It made me far stronger. It let me know who was in my corner and who wasn't. And I also learned how to draw in that time. I was always terrified to draw. And I started drawing and doing art therapy. And now my drawing is things people understand what I'm drawing. And I drew for 5 years straight, every day. And by putting myself out there in art, like I've built where I can draw things now and people know what it is. I started as black blobs on a page, and I can now draw something that people understand. And it just changed my entire life. So putting myself out there literally changed my entire life for the better and put me on a path that I never thought I would be on. And because of that path, I'm doing great things now. And I'm just so amazed at what I can do now.
Mark, I thank you for sharing everything. I'm going to share a little video that is sending out love for you and everything you just shared, love for everybody who can relate to, man, you shared so much in that, who can relate to, I'm going to say maybe being manipulated on certain ways, and could use some love, and also to everyone in our Purple Hearts Club. We'll be right back. Just take in the love. That was powerful, Mark. My gosh. Barbara, did you have something you wanted to add also?
Yeah, I'm just blown away from everybody. I'm just sitting here like, I feel like I'm with everybody else in the comments right now. I wanted to just add real quickly, because I was listening to Mark and how he put himself out there, and sometimes any means necessary. That's what I want to say. Sometimes you have to do things any means necessary for your life, for you. And when you do that, you will find your tribe. See, Mark found his tribe. He found the people, hey, the people that didn't like, hey, so be it. That's on him. But the people that love Mark and what he's putting out there, and they're understanding what he was going through, that's another tribe. That's people that he's connecting with. We all have our own tribe. And I just want to remind people, everybody's not going to like you. Point blank. You have to be you. That's what makes you so interesting and so amazing and worthy, is you got to put yourself out there and say to yourself, you know what? There's going to be some people that doesn't cater. There's going to be other people that's going to be loving on you. Either way it goes, you're doing it because you're reaching the people that need that. And if you don't put yourself out there, then like I said, like we keep saying over and over again, then okay, how you're saving other people's lives. I always tell people, you're a lighthouse to the world. You're a lighthouse to the world. So you just got to shine your light so you can bring in those people that's going to be shining to your light.
Kim.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off something Mark said too, because he made the comment, I believe I understood, Mark, that you were indoors, inbound for about a year. Is that what you said?
Yeah. It was actually more like 4 years, but it was rough.
Well, the reason I want to piggyback off that is because after my husband died, it took me 2 years before I could ever do anything. And I came to my daughter's in December the 19th of 2019, and I didn't get home till June the 2nd of 2020. And that was because of COVID. Yeah. So if you look at the 2 years where I was there alone, then all of a sudden here's a year where we couldn't get outside. We couldn't do anything. You know, we are confined in the environment that we were. And then I get back home, and it was probably maybe about a year or less later, I was the victim of an automobile accident and then was left for nearly a year. I could not walk. So then here again, I was in that environment where I couldn't get out, be with anybody, do anything. I was that recluse again. So you're looking at 2019 all the way to probably about 2022. All of a sudden, that was a huge part of my life that I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing, or how I was going to even survive. But survival is there. It's always there. And all we have to do, and Kim, I'm going to go back to what you started with. We have to go within.
Yes.
When we go deep within ourselves, that's where we find the light. It's the inner soul and that inner being and that purpose that we hold on to. And that's where Mark got into his art, I got into my writing, and I couldn't stop. And it's still going on today.
It is still going on. Kaelen, go ahead.
I got to piggyback off of that, Sharla and Mark, because like my mind is going ding, 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 ding. We all have a dark night of our soul. We all do. And when we have multiples, and I reflect back on mine was between 2011 and 2014, 15-ish. And there was a good year and a half. I was the recluse too. I'm thinking, oh, I was too. I was sucking the life out of my couch because I had mental disorders. And that's a whole different section there.
Yeah.
Stuff. So we're just going to leave it as it is. But I like leaving and ending my life was a reality. I was ready to peace out. I had it all planned. I had it all ready to go. Right. And when I realized that I was meant to stay, it was hard. It was hard because I didn't want to. And there was this something inside of me that just kept going, come on, come on, come on. And it started to pull me out. And by the end of 2016, I'd started a coaching business. And I look at myself and I go, if I could be in that deep, dark place and have something within pull me up and out and be able to turn all of that into a coaching business, into a speaking business, into like living, I'm not any different than anybody else. We all have that within us. Ooh.
Yeah.
So I'm just so passionate because we go there, but we come out of it if we allow ourselves to and we listen to what that pull is within our soul.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. It's listening. It's that listening because we hear, but we don't always listen. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
And see, there's a lot of situations where in Western culture, we don't have shamans. And shamans are the people that show up when you're going through something and they help you get through it. They're the ones that talk you through it. They're the ones that say, deal with your pain, deal with your suffering, get out of that. Because survival is a great motivator for putting yourself out there. So is anger. So if you're mad about something, you will want to put yourself out there more because people tell you you can't do it.
Yep.
Or, you want to live. Everything in your body's telling you, I want to live. I do not want to die. So you literally put yourself out there so you don't. And it's a freeing experience. It's so freeing, and it can literally put your life into a place where you never thought possible.
Absolutely. Okay, you guys are I love this conversation. Sharla, I want to share with everyone a little bit more about you and some of your journey and how it factors into all of this. And so we'll be right back.
My name is Sharla Lee Shults, and I am an educator, writer, author, and speaker. That is a milestone I just reached on October the 11th, 2024, in the 78th year of my life. I would have never thought that at this point in time, I would find myself under lights, action, camera, and standing in front of 400 or 500 people and delivering a message to go out to the world. My message to you, never cut yourself short and don't think for a moment that something is impossible. And age has no bearing. It's what you have in your heart, and the passion and the joy and the will to move forward and to give back to others in any way possible. Add value to the lives of others, and you increase the value of your own. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Congratulations, Sharla.
And I know now what you want to know is, where was I when I was in front of 400 or 500 people? Because I did not put it in that little clip on purpose. Guys, I did a TED Talk. I was on the TEDx stage. And of course, the TEDx is under the umbrella of TED that's within the communities. And that's where people come out and they present their message. They share it with the world. And I was selected to give my talk in Billings, Montana. And it could not have been any better place, any more rewarding experience in my entire life. And I was so well prepared that the day that I gave my talk, something really strange happened, because at dress rehearsal, what I was going to wear totally clashed with the background. I had to real fast find something to wear, and I could not find any shoes. So the day, I'm talking about 2 minutes before the curtain opened, the host said, "Well, Sharla, what have you decided about your shoes?" And I said, "I'm just going to go with what I have." And she says, "Yes, you are. You're going with no shoes." I did my talk barefoot. And the reason I did it barefoot, my talk is dance with the earth, partner with nature.
Oh,
And
look how that turned out.
It was absolutely perfect. And it was so rewarding that afterward, I just received a picture just a day ago of a group of ladies, because we had sack lunch brought in, and they sent me the photo of where they had lunch outside in the grass barefoot. And nothing could have been any more rewarding than that. It was really nice.
Oh, I love that. Barbara, I want to put you in the hot seat here. And you help people with being visible, putting themselves out there. And so I would love to know from you, like, what do you feel like you notice that people need most help with when it comes to finally putting themselves out there more publicly? What do they need help with? What do you notice?
Getting out of their way, basically getting out of their way. A lot of times, I talk to so many, and some of them, they've been speaking forever and ever. And then all of a sudden you say, okay, you want your own show. You want to brand yourself. You want to put yourself out there. You want to be the known, person in what you do in your lane. And all of a sudden they're like, well, wait a minute. I was like, well, you just a minute ago, you were just, so I go from the shy, which I totally understand about that, to the fearful, which I understand about that, to people having that imposter syndrome. So all that goes on, and I have to basically kind of just talk them down and say, you can do this. And I remind them on the why. And sometimes people go back in time and hear those voices that they heard. You can't do this. You're not worthy, especially at a young age. Everybody has their own low valleys at that time. And I wanted to say that before about fear, because they start putting that in their head and transporting that, saying, well, if I do this, I know somebody said a long time ago, I can't do this. Or if I put myself out there in front of the camera, they're going to say that, before they said I was too fat, or I didn't look right, or my eye was twitching, or whatever the case may be. It's little things that stop them. So that's why I always say you need to take yourself out there. You're putting yourself there. You got to move yourself out the way.
Okay, there's so much more we could say, but I think it would be a really nice addition to today's conversation is really acknowledging how putting ourselves out there also has that feedback loop of legacy. And if you've been watching the Let's Talk Fabulous show, we have been talking about legacy for quite some time. And I just like to just remind everyone, what are you doing to create your legacy, to live into your legacy, to be the legacy that you want to be. We're going to play a beautiful song, and we'll be right back to continue the conversation.
In the quiet moments, when the sun begins to rise, we find the strength within us. In the stories of our lives, not in gold or glory, but in hearts we've touched with grace, in the love we share with others, in each kind and gentle face. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held and the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you sparked in others, in the stories that are told. Through the trials and the triumphs, in the battles that we fight, it's the courage and the kindness that will always shine so bright. In the lessons that we teach and the dreams that we inspire, in the way we lift each other higher and higher. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held and the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you sparked in others, in the stories that are told. In the final song you sung, and the curtains drawing near, it's the moments filled with love that will echo year to year. In the footprints on the path that guide the lost and blind, your legacy will live on in the hearts you've left behind. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held, the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you've sparked in others, in the stories that are told. So let's live with open hearts and give with all our might, for the legacy we leave is a beacon in the night, in the echoes of our actions, in the whispers of the wind. Our legacy of love is where it all begins. Our legacy of love is where it all begins.
Your legacy will live on in the hearts you've left behind.
Beautiful song.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to come back to our audience, our beautiful audience who's been chiming in today throughout the conversation, and just share some of their comments. We have Gloria with us today, who she shared that I'm finally launching a new program that I've planned to do for years. Good job, Gloria. Congratulations to you for doing that. I also want to go to, we have a Facebook user who's saying, Lord help me, I'm still standing in my own way. I can't get past the anxiety. Oh, sorry, let me take that back down. Let's start to come to final thoughts of tips for people who are, in that space of wanting to put themselves out there, wanting to get out of their own way. And, but they're feeling that anxiety or they're feeling that fear, right? Anybody want to go first?
Sure.
Yes. Sharla, go ahead.
Talk to the trees. And I'm serious.
Yeah.
Hug a tree and talk to the trees.
Mhm.
Because if you take time to step outside, and it can be in your backyard, it doesn't have to be in a forest or in the woods. You can go somewhere like that, or you can just simply go to a park. But if you're outdoors where you can be in and with nature, you're able to open up. You're able to let go all of your thoughts, your fears, your anxiety, anything that's built up inside of you. Grab a tree, hug that tree, let the tree absorb all of that negative energy, because the tree is alive and it's going to give back to you its life-giving energy. And believe it or not, you will walk away a different person, and you will feel different about life. And you'll also be more grateful for the world and the earth beneath your feet.
I love that. Totally agree with that one, Sharla. Nature for sure.
Absolutely.
Kaelen, what tips do you have?
You know what? It's funny because like I'm not thinking of tips so much as I'm like, what am I going to do next to put myself out there? Like, you've all inspired me. I'm like, Mark's got a YouTube, Barbara's got a YouTube, Sharla's just spoken. I'm like, you know what? I kind of think a YouTube channel feels really good. I'm like, why not? You know, and I think the biggest tip is put yourself out there a little bit, because then you're going to get more ideas, more inspiration, and before you know it, it's going to keep snowballing.
Yes.
And you've gotten out of your way. Let's be clear, you're going to keep getting back in your way because you're a human, right? That's what happens. But when you recognize like, oh, I'm in my way again, you step out, and then you allow that inspiration to come, and who knows where you're going to go. It's the possibilities are limitless. So I'm like, yeah, YouTube channel. That sounds pretty cool. So I think that's my next one. Thank you.
Woo! Good job, Kaelen. That's awesome. Mark, how
I'll
about
be your
you?
first subscriber.
Done.
I'll be second. I'll be second.
I'll be third.
I'll be fourth.
You guys got my heart. Thank you.
Okay, Mark, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. What tips do you
Okay.
have for people who are trying to
Well-
get over the anxiety and stuff?
Well, now they got me thinking what I'm going to do next. So I think I want to do a TED Talk, and I'm writing a book. So both of those things are on my list. But I think my tip would be let anger fuel you. And the anger of, I don't want to stay in the place I'm stuck in. I'm angry that I can't move further than I want to. Let that anger be stronger than your anxiety. It'll move you towards better things. It'll move you to make yourself get out there, because you'll be too angry to do anything else.
Yeah.
Like, you literally will be so mad at everything in your life that you're like, the only thing I can do is put myself out there, because I can't stay in this.
Yeah.
I can't stay in this. And let that fuel you, and then reap the rewards of putting yourself out there. Even if you only put yourself out there a little bit at a time, it all snowballs. And that's one of the things I say too. Like, a lot of the times I say that everything snowballs, either good or bad. If you do good, it snowballs into more good. If you do bad, it snowballs into more bad. So let yourself be angry in the situation.
I love that. What I hear is
I love that.
into something productive.
Yes. Yes.
So. Woo! Okay. Lots of applause on that one.
Yeah.
Barbara, how about you? What are your tips?
Well, real quickly, because of time, let your stories be the guiding light for others when you put yourself out there. And I say that because I have living proof that when you put yourself out there and be vulnerable, you can save somebody's life. I put myself out there on Facebook a few years ago and told them about the time when I was 17, I was struggling to basically take my life. And I said how I moved on from that. Person reached out to me, young lady, 2 days later, seeing the Facebook Live. She said she was ready to give up her life. When she seen that video that somebody sent her from what I was talking about, she said, Barbara, thank you for giving me another chance to move on. And now she's in college, and she's going basically to be, I think, on TV. So I'm saying all that because you see how when you don't put yourself out there, you could be saving lives.
Yeah.
You know, it goes back to sometimes not about you. Sometimes your stories, your mess can help somebody else move through their mess so they can have life moving forward.
Yeah. I think the calling of feeling called to put yourself out there is because other people are desiring it on some level. They may not be consciously going, oh, I can't wait for Barbara to put her video out there because I really need it, but they're needing something. They're needing something. And you're feeling that calling, you're feeling that pull, that drive. And it's so important for us to honor that, listen to that, and do what we can to shift out of the fear and all of the anxiety, right? And so that we can get to the space where we can be the gift and give the gift. And yeah. Oh my goodness. You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful
Thank
time.
you.
Thank
Our
you.
thanks to you.
Beautiful.
I'm just gonna close with just reminding people that if you don't know where to start with looking inward and understanding and knowing who you are and learning to love who you are, and then taking it further. What do I value? What's important to me? Tap into that. And then how can you put that outward? How can you extend that love, that value, that appreciation, all that light and energy outward for the world? I believe that when you shine, our world shines, and it all starts with knowing who you are and taking a chance on you and putting it out there. So that's what I want to leave everyone with.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you everyone for being here with us today. Let us know what you're taking away from today's conversation. And I hope today's conversation has inspired you to put yourself out there. There's literally no one else out there like you. No one. And that's why it's so important that you value you and put yourself out there. Have an amazing day. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
I'm finding the video. Here we go. Bye for now.
I want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.